All right, welcome to Guarantee News. Everybody that does this knows that I don't, or watches me knows that I don't like humongous intros, so I'm just gonna get straight to it. First off, if you're watching just a second of this, just the intro, I appreciate it. Follow me, subscribe, GS Studios, GSTEWDIOS. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be posting a lot more now. The last video I posted, let's see. The last video I posted was from a month ago. That's too long. The goal is this year, I say this every time I film, the goal is always to be as consistent as possible. So first off, if you're watching this, thank you. Go to YouTube right now where you're watching this or wherever you are watching this, and then subscribe to GS Studios on YouTube and watch as much as possible. I have 119 videos. I didn't even realize that. I have a lot more than I thought. All right, let's get straight to the story, straight to the point of what we're talking about today, and that's going to be the whole LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith debacle that's been going on over the weekend. And let me switch over my mic real quick, or not my mic, my headphones, to make sure it's coming through the headphones. Let's see. All right, there we go. So
Some of the things
that's going to be the story that we're talking about today. It's been going on all over the news, or all over Twitter, all over every sports media this weekend. So basically, let's go to it. So basically what happened is, let me go to the video. Bear with me. Subscribe. History, because I was just watching it. All right. So everybody has seen this video right by now. Basically what happened is, in the middle of the game, I think it was like, I don't know, middle of the game, during the game, LeBron came up to Stephen A. and they were going back and forth, and everybody's been talking about it. Like, what were they talking about? And then Stephen A. went on First Take. This happened on Thursday. Then on Friday, what is it, March 9th? So this Sunday, March 9th, on this Friday, he went on First Take, and then the Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube, and he addressed it. And it's been this whole big thing that started a big debate. So that's the context. Let me first show the video to you guys, just in case anyone's not seen it. Okay, keep my son out of this shit, bro. We're gonna watch a couple more. Anytime I watch videos, I always like to look at body language. Like, what can I see? Obviously, you're looking at body language, reading lips. Let's look. Like, LeBron is angry. He's talking. He's moving. His body's moving. You see his whole body shake. He's angry. Then he walks away from him, all right? We're focused on LeBron first. Look at this. Now let's look at Stephen A. Stephen A. to me is just standing there. I'll say, I was arguing with my brother about this. I'm going to talk about him a lot with this. He's one of the inspirations for why I did this video, because I'm like, my opinion is probably going to make a lot of people like, oh, this guy's crazy. So that's why I'm like, I have to make this video. First off, Stephen A. does not look scared to me. His hands aren't shaking or anything. I see a guy that's just standing still, like, okay. And we'll get to that more into the body language, but that's what I see from this. So that's the video. It was viral. It went everywhere because LeBron James is coming right up to Stephen A. Smith, and he's like saying, keep my son out of this, right? It's been everywhere. Everyone's talked about it. Shit. It's been everywhere, right? Everyone's talked about it. So let's see where I want to go with this next. Bear with me. So, all right. Context. Why did LeBron come up to Stephen A. and say this, right? So it's basically about his son. If you don't watch First Take, basically ever since Bronny got drafted, Stephen A.'s been talking about it like, I mean, Bronny's trash. He hasn't been the best. Like, let me not mince words. Bronny's been trash in the NBA. That's why he moved on to the G League, and he's in the G League now, and he's doing good. He's scoring 30 points. He's developing. That's great. But Stephen A.'s take was basically like, LeBron got Bronny into the league right now, got him to be drafted to the Lakers specifically. LeBron, everybody remembers the tweet, or if you don't, LeBron tweeted like, I want to be where my son's going to be, like next year, where my son's going to be, that's what I want to do, that's my program, I want to play with my son. So he pressured the Lakers, and let me say this, LeBron's not wrong to use his status as one of the best players, if not the best player, in my opinion, the best player in basketball history. He's not wrong to use this status to get his son in. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, white people do it all the time. Your grandfather and your dad owns a company, and now you're in high school, and the high school kid just doesn't give a fuck because he knows he's gonna work for his dad and be a thousandaire. I love the fact that LeBron did that. Okay, now that it happens, Stephen A. basically goes on the show and is like talking about it, right? This is LeBron's son. It's Bronny. He's not that good. And LeBron putting him in his face. His name is LeBron James Jr. LeBron made it so he was drafted, pushed it. He used his muscle, which worked, which we already said he should do. And now he's in the league and he's not doing that good. And everybody's talking about him. And maybe it's hindering Bronny. That's basically what Stephen A. is saying. He said, and he talked about this a lot. If you know First Take or something, like, they're talking about stuff all the time. They're regurgitating things because it's a daily news show. So Stephen A. is on here, like, especially during the beginning of the season, saying Bronny's not doing good, and LeBron's not helping him because you're putting him in front of everybody's face every day. And the kid is not kid; he's a professional. But the guy is not able to develop quietly. He is more now because they sent him down to the G League, but the beginning of the year and when he was getting drafted and all of this stuff, you're not letting him develop quietly because you're making him get drafted after 1 year at USC when he wasn't a starter. You're telling the Lakers or you're telling the NBA whatever team drafts him is where I want to be, and the first night you have him come in for 3 seconds so you guys can be the first, so you can make that historic thing. That's clear that you wanted that to be a thing, so now people are going to talk about it, right? That's why Stephen A. talked about it. Then you go back to this video, and after all that, LeBron comes up to him at this and he says, "Keep my son out of this shit," and then it started a shitstorm about who's right. Is LeBron right for sticking up for his son and being like, "Oh, you bitch ass journalist, shut up talking about my son. You don't know, this is personal"? Or is Stephen A. right? The guy that has to talk every day on a news show, and it's his job to be a journalist, and it's his job to be entertaining and talk and give facts, but also be entertaining on morning sports journalism. And did he cross the line? That's the main thing, I think, in my head, is did Stephen A. cross the line with his coverage? And is he supposed to not talk about Bronny, who is a professional? Right? So that's kind of the debate that it started on social media. And everybody says when you're looking at your phone, they think it's like disrespectful. I'm looking at my notes. This is my best way to do it. But all right, so who is right, who is wrong? So was Stephen A. talking about LeBron's parenting style or doing his job as a journalist? Because the argument with my brother was, this is disrespectful. He's coming to him as a man and talking about how, and him being Stephen A. is coming and like going on TV and talking about how you should raise someone's son, and that's disrespectful. As a man, any man, if you're coming and talking to me about how I raise my kids, we have a problem. I have to talk. That's just being a man. If you don't do it, you're a hoe. That's basically kind of that like whole thing. And I understand that, right? But at the same time, I don't think Stephen A. crossed the line. He did his job, which is to tell his take, to call it how he sees it, and talk about the most popular things going on. And if you know anything, the same way that this story right now is one of the most popular things going on in the last 3 days, LeBron and LeBron James Jr., that was a major story. So you have to talk about it if you're going to go on the news, right? If you're gonna have a morning news show and you're gonna have one of the most popular news shows on one of the most popular sports broadcast stations in the entire universe, in the entire world, you have to talk about Bronny James during that time, right? And how does he feel about it? The truth. Yes, it is true. This is my opinion. Bronny would not have gotten drafted where he got drafted that year if he was not LeBron's son, and if he wasn't LeBron's son, and he would not have played the games that he did with the Lakers initially if he was not LeBron's son. My brother plays basketball all the time. I'm not a basketball player, so I get like every basketball player has a story. You played overseas, you played in the G League, I'm better than the average player, there's so much skill, Bronny is great at basketball, he's doing great in the G League. Yeah, I get all that for sure, but he averaged like 0.3 in every statistic when he was playing for the Lakers on the team. He would not have been there if he wasn't LeBron James' son. And is that bad for LeBron to do that? No. Is it bad for Stephen A. to comment on the obvious? No, right? That's Stephen A.'s job. And let me get back to my notes to make a point. That's Stephen A.'s job, right? And let me see where we're at. Stephen A.'s book, and I read his book. I'm about to go get it. Bear with me. And keep in mind, I went to school. I went to Indiana University, 2022 graduate. I majored in journalism with a focus in news writing and broadcast. So I care about journalism, right? I'm not just doing this shit because it's fun. Well, it's fun for me, but I care about journalism, right? It's both. I'm not just some guy setting up a microphone to just talk about fried shit. I'm not a podcast bro, right? So of course, I'm gonna read. I read a bunch of journalists. Like I read a bunch of journalists' autobiographies. It's one of the best. He's one of whatever you want to say about Stephen A. The things he has about him, all this stuff. He's one of the best sports journalism of my time. So I'm gonna read him. The name of his book is Straight Shooter: A Memoir of Second Chances and First Takes, which I think matters to me with what's going on because first takes part, it's his job to say the first take. It's his job to say something that is on the people's minds and to say what everybody's thinking, to say the thing that people might agree with. You have to get up there and call it the way you see it, especially in today's media world, and people won't like it. That's the thing that I'm like thinking people don't understand is like, you guys don't even want journalism or commentary that's just stats and facts. Journalism it's a chicken and the egg conversation of, are journalists being salacious or do people want salacious shit? Because when journalists just come and give the facts and give it to you how it is, you guys don't believe the facts, you argue with them, and you go and just do whatever you want anyways. You want opinions with your facts. So Stephen A is doing that. He's giving the facts and he's giving his opinion, right? A memoir of first takes and second chances. Second chances, when you talk every day on something and you have a news show, you got to learn how to stand on business, but you also got to learn to say when you're wrong, but at the same time, stand on business, right? And that's where I'm going to get to, where after everything happened, Stephen A just started copping pleas on First Take in his show on Friday, but I'll get to that. But no, LeBron's not wrong for saying, yeah, this is my son, keep him out of it because you want to stick up for your son. But LeBron is wrong, but Stephen A's not wrong for saying the truth. That, hey, that he would not be where he is right now if he wasn't your son, and that's okay. But maybe the fact that you're putting him in front of everybody like a show pony and kind of, some could say, making it just about as much about you as it is him, where you want to be the first dad to play with your son, and you want to make him to the league, and you want to do this cool thing, which it is a cool moment, and it was great to see, and I do want Bronny to succeed, but you are hindering him. We are going to have to talk to him, and we are going to have to all look and realize he is not you. He doesn't look that good. Sorry. You want us to not say that? He's a professional. He's a pro. He's a pro. A rookie, but a pro. Not going to get into it, but if you're a professional and a professional athlete in 2025, something that you should learn is how to get talked about and how to not be bothered by it. So no, and did he cross a line? To answer the question shortly, no, he did not cross a line of moral thing. He's not talking about the way, and he says, if you're watching those old First Take videos, in my opinion, every video he says, by all accounts, LeBron is a great dad, Bronny is a great son, he's a great guy, LeBron is a family man, he loves his family, but the fact, in layman's terms, quick terms, but the fact that he's LeBron's son, and LeBron is seeming to do everything he can to use his power to push him to the forefront. Now that he's to the forefront, we're going to talk about him. And when he got to the forefront, he does not seem to be immediately ready. That's a fact. That's what Stephen A was saying. And I think, in my opinion, LeBron got sensitive and tender because his son was being talked about by one of the biggest news people, the biggest sports entertainment people who talks every day. And now you're tender, in my opinion, because he's not being disrespectful. He's not saying you raised your son to not be a good man and take care of women and pay on the first date and treat people, elders, with respect. He's not talking about the way you raised him. He's talking about the way that you're bringing him up. That's a take. If you're mad about a take, and this is as a journalist, this is what's hard about being a journalist sometimes, is that line of like, am I being disrespectful, or am I telling your opinion, or am I being disrespectful, or am I telling my opinion and you don't like it? And as a journalist, again, if you're wrong, again, his thing is first takes and first shoot. Like, he says in the book, like, there's times I said something on accident and I had to come back the next day and just be like, I was wrong. But I also had to learn how to be like, you know what? I'm not here as a journalist to make friends with the people that I'm talking about. If I'm a sports journalist, I may not try to be friends with these people. You need sources and stuff that's about there too, but I'm not trying to be friends. If I'm like a news person, if I'm a political analyst, my job isn't to be friends with every single mayor, governor, someone who works with the trustees, someone that works for the State Department. My job is to tell the facts to the people, not for you to like me, right? So, stop. Not even stop. If you're a tender ass, me, and I'm a small statured guy, you can believe it or not, because my brother's like, that's 6'8" LeBron, because he was like, Stephen A was shaking, like, what are you going to do? A nigga like me, bro, I would have been like, bro, you're coming to me in the middle of your game. We're about to talk for 30 minutes. You're not going to have to talk to me. You're not going to have time to talk to me because I'm going to stand on business if that's how I feel. If that's how I feel, it's what I said, nigga. That's what I said. What? Sorry. It's what I said. And I get paid to say what I say. And that's my job. It's how I feel. It wasn't disrespectful. It's the truth. And you need to maybe come to terms with your own truth. I'm not taking it back. Now what? You're going to punch me in front of everybody? All right, we're about to squabble up. And then you're LeBron and I'm suing you. call me whatever you want because of that too, but you want to squabble about it? I didn't disrespect your son, but you're tender about your son to that point where he's a professional and people can't talk about the fact that he's not the best professional right now, and you're tender about it instead of teaching him how to get better and learn how to deal with what comes with being a star? Well, then you got to take it where you got to take it. But I'm not drawing back because you're 16 and you're LeBron. That's why I think, in my opinion, it's better to own something than to work for somebody, because I hoped Stephen A. on Friday afterwards, because he knew he was going to talk about it, because he had that tweet. He had the tweet. He was like, I didn't even want to talk about it, but I had to talk about it. I hoped he was going to, I thought he was going to stand on business, but I didn't know if he was going to stand on business by being disrespectful and being like, fuck that, this is what I said and this is how I feel, and LeBron's being sensitive, or he was going to be respectful and like keep it a respectful way. He went on there and he was respectful, but he also copped pleas, which I didn't like. And like, you've seen a lot of people, like the dude that owns Barstool Sports, where you can talk a lot about everything with him, but he talked about how Stephen A's a straight shooter. Your book is straight shooter. You should have kept it as a straight shooter. Don't cop please. And then academics, say what you want about academics, but he kind of said the same thing, where you don't have to cop please. So now I'm going to play these videos of like Stephen A. This is him the morning after addressing it. I'm going to play this one from First Take and this one from the Stephen A. Smith show, because he has both. But he was kind of copping please. And before I play these videos, I want to make sure, I'm past my 15 minutes. I want to make sure I'm not. Yeah, Stephen A. was talking about LeBron's parenting style. His parenting style, he wasn't talking about his parenting style. He was doing his job as a journalist. So, all right, let's look at the video, because I want to get into him copping please a little bit.
Really took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say.
This was me when I watched this first, because I was watching First Take Live because I was ready for this on Friday at 10 a.m. This was like the one place where he kind of snapped back at LeBron, but he was taking the pleas because he was like, oh, I understand what LeBron was saying, because he's coming to me as a father, which I get. As a father, you take up for your son, but look at the context. He did not disrespect your son or you being a parent. He told a take that you could be irritable with, but you're also a star and you know how the game works. You're being tender. So that's, but let me not get back to an old take. He basically was like copping pleas in the way that he was like, oh, I get LeBron. I have 2 daughters and he's coming to me as a father, and I could tell how mad he was. But this point I do like is this, like, if you wanted to talk to me man to man, you could have called me on the phone and say, let's meet together, and I would have met with you. And to me, the way I think about it, that's more being a man. LeBron, first, I think LeBron is kind of tender and sensitive, honestly, and you're trying to create a show. The same way he's a showman, the same way he be putting up books and he clearly doesn't read books, and he be posting videos to songs and he doesn't know the words to the songs, and he clearly lies all the time. He's a great star, but he obviously is a showman, and he's obviously a liar, and he likes to create a show. And instead of going and you're really mad about your son, you really feel some way about your son, why are you want to go in the middle of the game and try to go into to a journalist that's courtside? That's why, like, they're like me, bro. I'm standing on business. If that's how I feel, if I'm wrong, then you got it. I'm my bad, bro. But if I feel the way I feel and you're tender and I'm sitting in front of this camera and I get paid for it, that's the way I feel. I'm not. Come on now, nigga. No. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways, LeBron tried to make a show of it. And again, my brother, like, this is what the thing that made me want to make this video. My brother was like, yeah, if I don't see you and that's when I want to see you, that's when I'm gonna go up and say it. But you do it in the middle. You didn't do it during shoot around, because I know you knew he was there. You got people all around that can text you, that can say that, know what's going on. That's your building. You know what's going on. You trade people in that building. So don't expect me to know. Don't expect me to believe you don't know who's front row, front court before the game even starts. If you want to know, you could have talked to him. You could have put him to the back. You could have told him before any time during the game. But you wait during months after when we're not even talking about the little nigga anymore because he's down in the G League being quietly getting buckets and people talk to him. And then when which is how it should be. And now you want to, and not to call Bronny alone, my bad, because he is a professional. He is good at basketball. So I don't want to be like on that, but you want to go, LeBron, you want to go and and make a spectacle. That's what you did, and yell and make a spectacle about everything. You're not brave. You're a showman. And that's why I would have been like, you're not brave. You're not cool. You're not trying to be a man about it. And you're not trying to do it in the best, you're not trying to do it in the most, I don't want to say reasonable, but in the most copacetic way. Like, you're trying to make a show, and you did. Clap for LeBron. Clap for LeBron, the showman. He is a showman. One of the best basketball players of all time. Good job, Bron. Good job. Good job. But that's why I'm sad Stephen A. cop please. But I'll give you a reason that he cop please. But I'll do that at the end, and we'll end with this. But here's the first take. I mean, here's the Stephen A. Smith show that he did earlier. Or later that day.
And I felt the need to elaborate even further because a couple of people text me and pissed me off, and they know who they are. People close to LeBron James talking to me about questioning him as a father. Come on, y'all. I mean, it's got to a point where this LeBron sensitivity is just beyond the pale. You call him the second best player in the history of the game. You're insulting him because you said he's not the GOAT. You're saying that at age 40, we've never seen anybody do what he does, but pointing out at times how he may not have hustled back on defense in a key pivotal moment, and that's a problem. You give him all the praise in the world when he drops 40, but he has a bad night, and you say he had a bad night, and you're hating. It's ridiculous. But never before has it been more ridiculous.
And that's why I'm saying, bro, that's lame to me, bro. That's lame to me. You've been in the spotlight since you were 18. You know how it goes. You know how the media goes. Yeah, the media's not gonna say everything that you like. That's not their job, again. But to go up to somebody like that and make a show about it and all that, it's just, I think it's kind of lame. But I will say I'm on everyone's side in the fact that, you know, if you're LeBron and someone's talking about your son, that's your son. You do say something. You stand on business about your son to the death of you. But if you really care that way, I think the way he did it was wrong. And Stephen A., the only thing I disagree with is him copping pleas a little bit. But the only reason I will say maybe he copped a plea, he just got a $100 million contract from ESPN that was talked about the day before. And now I got this big ass stupid nigga who's great at his sport, but okay, LeBron's not stupid. Let me stop. We got this non-reading lying over here yelling in my face, and I got the execs. He even said I had the execs coming down to me kind of saying like this is a big deal. And when it comes to the NBA, LeBron is more important than Stephen A. That's just a simple fact. He got his son into the NBA. He got his son into the NBA early and got him drafted. Like, that's a fact. So Stephen A. is probably of the mindset of like, you know what? $100 million man, bro. Fuck this nigga, bro. You got it. Tender ass. Tenderoni. You got it. That's why someone like me, though, that's why I respect Pat McAfee. That's why I respect academics. That's why I respect a Joe Budden, because whatever you want to say about them on their takes, the way they do things, the way they have their opinions, they own something. And when you own something, there's no one that you got to talk to except for the people you care about and trust. But when it comes down to the end of the day, when the cookie crumbles, I'm doing what the fuck I want. And I like that, bro. I really do appreciate that, because that's what I want, bro. I don't want someone to come and say, Garrett, you can't say this if it's genuinely how I feel and I think I'm not wrong, and it's gonna make someone mad. But no, this is GS Studios. This is my business, and we're working together. I don't work for you. I'm not taking it down. I like when Joe Budden and when academics, when Pat McAfee talks about the suits and not liking the suit. That's the type of bag I like, because it is like, you know what, this is mine. I built this from the ground up. I'm saying what I want. Stephen A. took a different route. He can't do that. That's why I think he took it back. And I don't think it's bad that he took it back, because there's different ways to do different things. I'm $100 million man. It's not worth trying to stand on business with this tenderoni. But no, I do not think he was disrespectful or morally calling out Bron or talking about how Bron is as a dad, how Bronny is as a human being. He's talking about how they are as basketball players and how Bronny putting him in the middle of the world is maybe hurting Bronny a little bit. And it probably was. He's in the G League now going crazy and no one's talking about him. And Bronny probably in some way agrees in somewhere in his heart because he's called Bronny and his name is LeBron James Jr. So, and I say that to say, you know the pressure and you want to make your own way. And your dad, come on now, bro. Like, bro, people be tender, and that's like that's the hard part of being a journalist is like people are gonna disagree with what you say, and you gotta know when to say when you're wrong, but know when to stand on business. That's a fact. And there was one other thing I want to. Oh yeah. And now let me see. Hold on. And now people are like, I guess there's like a thing I saw this on Twitter today where this is like the quickest thing. This was like Stephen A last night. Stephen A did not want to talk about LeBron James. You know what? Right. You know what? I won't. You can take it different ways, but like this Tinder out, I don't even want to talk about this. Well, let me play the video.
But how about LeBron James? Nearly a triple-double, 14, 8, and 7 already at the half, Bob.
You know, he's got 19 minutes in the league, most on his team, and doing it every which way. There's an offensive rebound putback, and his passing has been elite, always is. But I think he's the most important player on the floor, and that's saying something that he's 40 years old. He means more to his team than anybody on the Celtics, and it's fascinating to watch him still do it. We say it all the time with him, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Here's what makes sense to me. Okay, we talked enough about him during the pregame. How about Jason Tatum right now?
Okay.
How about Jason Tatum and his 22
And Bresky going like, okay. Like he knows, but
points? How about the way he closed the half? How about the fact that he scored 22 points and the Boston Celtics, who were down 12-4 to start the game, are up by 4 at the half? They're shooting the same from the field and from three-point range.
More to his team.
And maybe I'm biased because I am a journalist, but you could see that both sides of him being charged, but also like, bro, all right, man, you don't want to be talked about, you sensitive asshole. All right then, bro, fuck you. Jason Tatum got 20 at the half, bro. And, like, bro, you guys lost, bro. Like, or I don't know. I think the Lakers did lose. Let me see. Let me go to ESPN. I think the Lakers did lose. Let me see. NBA. It's the 9th. This was just yesterday on Saturday. Let me go to the Lakers. Yeah, and they didn't lose but like I'm just being childish, but I'm like saying to say like, yeah, you guys lost. Jason Tatum's going off, and you don't want to be talked about, you sensitive asshole. All right then, sensitive asshole. You could say like you could take it both ways, but that's how I'm gonna see like, fuck, bro. You don't want to be talked about because you sensitive as hell. You got it. But that's how I got to go with that. You guys think what you want. Same thing. Subscribe to GS Studios, please. Watch. I will be posting more often. We're gonna do a couple shout outs every time. This is gonna be normal. Shout out Smurbo. Allowed 3 weeks for shipping. If you want hand stitched, handmade, quality clothing, go to smurbo.com. We're getting into the spring. We're getting into the summer. Flannels, if you know how to wear them, they're the perfect spring, and you can pull them off in the summer if it's the right day. Get you a handmade flannel. It's one of one. The socks are out of stock. We're gonna keep up with Smurbo because anything he puts something out, it sells out immediately. This was the latest jacket that he just did. I have it. It's great. I know it's coming next. Pause, and when it does, you guys will be excited for it, and I'll talk about it so you guys can get it, because once stuff sells out, he does it. You guys are lucky that he's doing these handmade flannels one of one. He's stitching them for you. This is your flannel that he's stitching for you. So shout out to Smurbo. Let's also go shout out to D Hicks. In a world of stocks, let me see. Oh, no, wrong thing. Let me just go to here. Let's go to. Shout out to D Hicks. Shout out to D Hicks on Twitter. Trump, everybody's talking about the stock market. Everybody's talking about new ways to get money. We live in a crazy world. I think you should get into trading. And if you do, D Hicks _trades. You want to go to his Twitter. You want to go and you want to just follow it, because he's giving good information. I'm learning how to trade. This is great information. But then you need to go to his link tree and go to his Discord. Join that Discord. It's worth the money, because he is really this is somebody that cares, and he's teaching you about stocks. Shout out to D Hicks. follow that. Another thing that I want you guys to do is go and watch the Magnate Origin series, right? Magnate Origin series. Does it come up when I just, there we go. 127 views for what, episode 2? That's not nearly enough. This is another guy. I interviewed him. He's doing an Origin series. 3 episodes, 2 are out. The 3rd will be out. We will talk about that and we will watch it. But he's someone else that's doing stocks, trying to get back to his community, trying to teach people how to create wealth, keep wealth, and send your wealth to the moon. So watch this. It's on the Magnate 1. It's on the Magnate 1 YouTube. But if you just go in and tap Magnate Origin Series, Magnate Origin Series, you see how it popped up. Go watch that. Go like that. Go subscribe. And if you're not even gonna, if you're not gonna do it to watch something really good and entertaining and get and learn and grow and look at somebody that cares about the community, at the very least do it because you see this guy to the right interviewing him with a really curious face that cares about what he's hearing. Do it for that, to watch. Do it to support me, but you should do it to support him too because he means what he says and it's impressive. But that is a wrap on that. Watch the next video, play around on my YouTube channel, no pause. Every video, it might not be the best, but I tried to make it the best. So like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. If it was for a minute, second, hour, be safe, stay prayed up, have a great rest of your day. If you disagreed with me, I'm sorry for you. Peace.